Hey guys, before we jump into today's video, I want to let you know that 100% of the ad revenue earned from this video is going to be donated to the NAACP. That's the National Association for the Advancement of Color People. And there is also going to be a fundraiser to the right side of this video that you can donate to if you are interested in doing so. Hey everyone, it's Pixelade here and welcome back to the channel. I'm here with another discussion video. The Sims 4 has its fair share of issues and things needing to be fixed, but one of the most important issues, if not the most important issue, are the skin tones. Those of you that have been subscribed to me for a while probably already know this, but I have been advocating either for a color wheel or for more skin swatches for quite some time. I think it was like a month ago or so that I shared a petition to change.org, which actually garnered over 70,000 signatures, yet went completely ignored by the Sims team. That to me is a telling sign right there. The community wants change. The community wants not only a better variety of skin tone swatches, but a color wheel so that all players can see themselves represented in the game. I definitely feel like that's the way to go, because the issue with getting more swatches, not everyone's going to be represented with that, because there are so many shades, and not just shades, but there are also undertones to skin. Some people have cooler undertones, warmer undertones, more neutral, and olive undertones. So all of those need to be accounted for with any new shades that we do get. And that's why I think that it would be best if we got not one slider, but two sliders. One slider so that you can really customize the shade, and then the other slider could be an undertone slider. I feel like that would definitely make things a lot better in the game. After doing a little bit of digging, I actually found when I shared this petition. It was on June 6th. So it was actually a little over 2 months ago. EA Games, a color wheel for The Sims 4, signed the petition. Additional dark swatches plus a color wheel. I think having both of these would definitely help things out a lot more. And I will link this petition down in the comment section for you guys to sign if you haven't already. I don't understand why when a few people were talking about it, it was looked down upon, and then now it's become, the common conversation. Like, make it make sense. This has been an issue literally since The Sims 4 has launched. And I feel like that is why we have not really made any progress with this, is because every time somebody speaks out on it, they're usually shut down and they're told like, you're not being realistic, this will never come, and then they give up and they stop fighting for it. And not to mention that Black Simmers have been fighting for this literally since the day the game came out, and they have been completely ignored. And that brings me to another tweet that I want to talk about. This one actually came from Plumbella herself. She tweeted 7 hours ago, "Will be a double-edged sword if skin tones get changed, because it shouldn't take white voices to amplify black voices just for their issues to be heard." And this is so true, and this seriously upsets me, because even if we do get better skin tones, additional swatches, a color wheel, it's still going to leave a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. At the end of the day, before there was change, it still took content creators and influencers with a big following, or white content creators, that made the Sims team even consider this. Black Simmers and black creators should definitely never have been an afterthought. Cotton Sims replied to Plumbella, 100%. A white person shouldn't need to speak up about a problem that a black person has had to make the problem known and to get the issue fixed. It sounds messed up when I said it. I just mean all of our voices should be equal, and that's true. And one race's voice shouldn't hold more weight. And I feel like that's really the problem with this. This brings me to the next thread, started July 24th by Spellcaster Sim. And honestly, after this thread of tweets, this is when I really saw the fight for better skin tones fully ramp up in the community. Sammy tweets, "Hey Lil Simsy, with your amount of followers and status as game changers, you have a huge impact on the Sims community. I wanted to ask you could start the same trend with the cow plant. Congrats, by the way. Only with a much bigger issue in The Sims 4, the skin tones, the darker skin tones, to this day has garnered nearly 6,000 likes. This is something that everyone once in the game and something that we have been fighting for a very long time. You know, I'm happy with getting smaller features upon request. I understand that it doesn't take too much programming and too much work to make a cow plant nameable in The Sims 4, but in my opinion, and I've said this in several videos and I'm gonna say it again, I don't even care, we shouldn't be getting fun little touches to the game when not every single simmer can see themselves represented in this game. To me, that's just messed up. Even though this video is about skin tones, I have spoken on representation and diversity many times in different forms. I definitely think we need more cultural representation and diversity in the world because The Sims 4 just feels very like American. I mean, I don't know if you guys get this vibe too, but it literally just feels like an American simulator. It really does. Most of the worlds are American inspired, or at least inspired by cities and towns in America. There really aren't any worlds with African inspiration. The only one that I could see really coming close to that is Salvador, as it's a tropical world and there are tropical regions in Africa, but I think that Salvador is inspired by South America. To continue Sammy's thread, the darker skin tones are extremely ashy and not really dark. For example, if I would create my father, it wouldn't be accurate, just because the skin tones are just too light and not fully dark. Also, makeup and dark skin tones don't go well together. They look off and just not right. It would be great if you could maybe start a shell challenge or something so that we could get a hashtag trending at the gallery so the gurus maybe realize the problem. Many simmers wish for that, and it's a really important matter to me. Yours sincerely, Sammy. And then of course he did go on to tag some bigger influencers, Plumbella, English Shimmer, and myself. It would be great if you could read the text above. It's really important that this issue gets fixed because some players can't represent themselves and only in a ashy version. Another thing that I want to talk about are mods and custom content. Yes, with the help of custom content creators and mods, we can have better, darker skin swatches. I always randomly plug this in the middle of my videos, but I am a huge fan of X Mira's Melanin Pack. I've talked about it many times, and it is seriously my go-to every single time I play my game. It's always the first thing that I download every time that I update my game, but not everyone can play with that. There are PC players that either don't know how to install mods or don't like to play with mods, and even console players that don't have an option at all. This kind of thing needs to be implemented into the base game for everyone. We shouldn't have to rely on CC creators to have representation. In one of Sammy's latest tweets, he quotes Lil Simsy from her brand new video. I have my skin color, I have my eye color, but a lot of people don't have that luxury, and it's not a luxury, it's a basic thing that needs to exist. It shouldn't be a luxury to be able to actually have diverse Sims in game, and that was just perfectly put. There's no better way to say that. I wanted to make a discussion video about this because I've just been talking about this nonstop on social media, but I feel like that's just not enough at this point. I need to make a video on this so that it reaches a larger audience and so that there is actual change with this game. It does make me sad that it is going to take white influencers such as myself in order for this change to come, because it seems like that's really the only time when EA listens, is when bigger white influencers come forward and speak on the issue. Just like Plumbella said in her tweet, there really never is change unless white voices are amplifying black voices, and it should never be the case. Black voices should be heard from the start, period. I tweeted yesterday, I've been working on a video about the skin tones and how we need more representation in the game, and absolutely cannot finish it without your thoughts on what could be changed / added and how it could be done. Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't hold back, please be honest. So I'm gonna read you guys the top comments. I feel like The Sims needs to do a massive update on all the skin tones. The black skin colors are ashy AF. I mix between black and white, and I can't even make myself in The Sims because you have light ashy black, darker ashy black, and then the darkest, ashiest, most ashy black. I have to rely on custom content to create my black Sims. I feel like there could be more accurate skin tones for paler skins also. Like the pale Sims look like they're on death's door. I also want more Asian skin tones. I'm a huge fan of BTS, and I tried to create them in cast, but they either ended up looking darker than they are or really pale. I doubt that we're getting a color wheel unless a mod creator gives up one. At this point, I wouldn't hold my breath waiting for all of those things. And yeah, I want to speak on this because I'm pretty sure that at one point, one of the developers did say that there are no plans to add a color wheel into the game, as it would require the game to basically be like recoded or something. So they were saying something like it was too hard, and what I don't get about that is like, how were they able to successfully add one with cats and dogs where honestly we don't even need it? Like, I understand that it's fun to have it for cats and dogs. We need that color wheel for the color of our Sims skin more than we need it for the cats and dogs. It's just like, where were the priorities with that? I really don't understand why that wasn't, you know, thought about in the beginning, and why black people are constantly an afterthought. Like, I could bet you that they're totally regretting it right now that they didn't put a color wheel in right away for skin color and skin tone, and you know, sliders for undertones and all of that. They're probably like, we should have did that. Yeah, you should have did that. I don't understand why it has to be an issue 6 years later. It's just unacceptable, and something just needs to be done about it. It genuinely makes me sad that it's such a diverse game, but the skins are horrifying. It's embarrassing. How am I supposed to rep The Sims when they can't rep me? I think they just kind of look flat, you know? We need like highlights that we don't have to get CC for, and is included on the right places with each individual tone depending on the lighting. Like if it's night, they don't show up, but if it's noon, they appear. Plus we need like full body freckles and undertone swatches. Like I have more pinky skin. Yeah, I could totally see them doing that. Let's say that they completely ignore the color wheel and they completely ignore the sliders. I wouldn't mind them making 2 sets of swatches. One set of swatches are the shades, which they eventually should give us way more of, and then another set of swatches just for undertones that enhance the original shade swatch. I think that would also help a lot too. I feel that all of the skin colors look off, like unnatural and corpsey. I wish there was more tones, more diversity. I want to make Hispanic, Black, and Asian Sims without it looking whack. One concept I've been trying to wrap my thoughts around is the color wheel we have for pets and the stamps. This difficult seemed to be put into Cats and Dogs expansion, yet game developers couldn't make this possible for The Sims. I understand it couldn't have been easy, but if they went through the effort so that we can customize our pets, why couldn't they do that for regular casts? These stamps and the ability to draw could have been a way to make custom tattoos. Yes, and also skin details. If the skin swatches was replaced with the color wheel or format the pets had, The Sims wouldn't just be representing the global community, but influencing more creativity and create a stronger unity between PC and console players. And that's also true. Console players don't have the privilege of using custom content to fix their game. So in a way it feels cheated, and I am not going to go out on my way to purchase a computer to have these advantages. More tea I have to share are the hair colors. Who else sees bubblegum pink hair often? The color wheel works perfectly for hair as well. Imagine all of the amazing Sims made with these 2 things combined. If we're not getting a baby update this year, I'd want these at the very least. In conclusion, my opinion is that the developers are being lazy. Same way they constantly reuse furniture, give it a small change and call it new. Use the code you have for pets and make some changes to fit actual Sims. Agree with that 100%. I love to see 2 sets of skin tones, warm undertones and cool ones. No matter whether you're pale as a ghost or nearly ebony, you can have either tone to your skin. I agree with this as well. In addition, having more neutral and olive undertones added as well. And Keisha says it's definitely the undertones of the skins that are off. For objects in build and buy, I know that many simmers want a color wheel, but when we're talking about skin tones, we need a color wheel. You can't just give them options to choose between. Not everyone's skin is a certain shade. We need more representation and diversity. A color wheel gives us endless options, which is really the only option I will ever fully accept. This is a life simulation game, and we need to be able to show how life is. It brings me so much anger to think about how this game has been out for 6 years, and we still can't give our Sims whatever skin tone we want. On another note, we also need the makeup to be more compatible with darker skin tones. They need this issue to be fixed. And I already know that the argument, but the color wheel is going to make the game laggy. I definitely don't think we need a color wheel. That's if we had a color wheel for every single aspect of the game. Objects, for every piece piece of clothing. Simply having a color wheel just for hair and or skin will not make the game laggy, I can assure you. We have one for pets, and that didn't change the performance of the game at all. There really is no excuse for not being able to make our Sims appear how we want them to appear. It's like if you're Asian, your only option is straight up desaturated yellow. If you're pale, your options are dead or pink. If you're black, then you're better off not even playing the game. It is a lost cause. All skin tones are either ashy or red. The skin tones need more transparency. Skin isn't opaque. Ask any FX artist. Even just a subtle translucency would add a lot. I think a color wheel is the only option. I'm fine with swatches for other things, but when it comes to skin tones, you need a color wheel, as skin tone is extremely diverse. For a game that prides itself on being so inclusive, it's crazy that they don't have an accurate way to represent POC in the game. There are more than just skin tones needing to be fixed, as people have mentioned that hairstyles and textures also need to be looked at. I can only imagine how it must feel to be a person of color and trying to make myself in The Sims, considering I get annoyed when I can't find a hairstyle. That's exactly right. Imagine not being able to make your Sim have your actual skin. Thank you for using your platform to bring these issues into the limelight. They do bring up a great point with the hairstyles as well, and I have talked on this before. The issue with ethnic hairstyles has literally been an issue since The Sims 4 was released. There aren't enough hairstyles for black Sims. It literally looks like every single hair in the game was made for white Sims. Yes, they have added a few here and there, but I feel like total we have like what? Maybe like between 5 and 10 out of the 100, 200, I don't even know how many hairstyles. It's probably over 100 hairstyles that we have now. There maybe are a dozen or less to pick from that are truly hairstyles that were made for black Sims. This is the problem. Archie says a color wheel is the obvious option. Really wish they would work on big issues like this in the base game rather than churning out cash grabs like there's no tomorrow. I could literally read these for days. There are so many great responses, but unfortunately this video would literally be like 10 hours long. So I'm going to include just one more. But if you go to my YouTube community page, all of the responses are there. Feel free to share yours as well. And if you guys want me to make a follow-up video on this, sharing more of you guys' thoughts, I definitely will do so because there's just no way that I can include everything in this video. Nova says, I love The Sims, but it's hard as a POC to make myself. And since I play on console, I just can't download skin tones. I can't make myself or other characters I come up with. For a game that's supposed to, I guess, be about representation, it lacks and it clearly shows. Everyone keeps bringing up how they pride themselves on representation, and they do, when that's literally one of the biggest problems with this game is they don't. There's also not nearly enough skin tones. How can we make someone when their skin tone is almost likely unavailable? You just can't. We need a color wheel or something. It's just sad. I literally stopped playing the game because it lacks so much. Share your opinions on this down in the comment section below. I don't want you guys to just share what you feel like is missing. I want you to share how you think it could be fixed, because I definitely think that with the recent uproar with skin tones that things definitely will change, and that the Sims team will put out an update giving us either more swatches, color wheel or something. I doubt that the color wheel is coming, let's just be honest, but I think that something is going to happen. Whether it's more swatches, slider, now that everyone in the community or pretty much everyone is talking about this, I think that they'll finally take action now. Not saying that that's right. They should have taken action a while ago when Black Simmers first brought this issue up. I made a tweet about this a few months ago, but EA should totally pay X Mira to have her melanin pack patched into the game. I did a little digging and I did find the tweet. On June 2nd, I tweeted, now would be an awesome time to pay X Mira to have her melanin pack, which includes the diverse and realistic set of skin tones the game currently lacks, implemented in a base game update for everyone, especially those that don't use CC or are on consoles. And this was following a tweet from The Sims that says, we stand with and for the Black community, our players, friends, and family. Black Lives Matter. The Sims is committed to creating the world as it should be, one that is kinder, more connected, and built on representation and inclusion. Well, we still don't have the representation you're saying The Sims is committed to, so where are they? I will also have a link to the petition pinned down in the comment section below as well. Make sure you guys sign and share that everywhere that you have a social media account. At the time that I shared this, July 26th, this is when I shared it a second time. There are 60,000 plus signatures on a petition for players wanting more diversity and inclusion in The Sims 4, but instead we get the ability to name a cow plant. Even taking the color wheel out from the equation, a series of new swatches can't be that hard, right? Talk about priorities. It kind of makes me sad because this really wasn't seen as an issue until recently. I will also have links to version 1 and 2 of the melanin pack pinned in the comment section below as well. I love you guys so much. Thank you for clicking and watching. If you found this video entertaining and informative, please give it a huge thumbs up, add it to your favorites playlist right here on YouTube, and subscribe to become a supporter today. You can follow me on social media. That includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitch, and more. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. I love each and every one of you in the minute back, and I will see you all next time. So long and happy simming. Bye guys.